Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day, and today we are here with a Fanatics weekly review where I go through the top 100 soccer items auctioned over on their platform. As always, if you enjoy these videos, do make sure to leave a like. Today, something a little different, no webcam, as I am recording very late at night for an early upload for Memorial Day for my American folk at the cost of a webcam. So no ugly mug here today. Sorry to disappoint. Instead, we got to talk about cards. You only can look at cards. I know it's rough, but webcam will be back next week. As for us now, we'll get on into this auction block. So we start at $150 to get into this weekly, and we start with a Totti 1994 Calciatore here and a PSA 6. Initially I thought that was a fair price. My initial thought was that, compared to Baggio, Maldini, that type of stuff, I'm pretty impressed with what the Tottis do in relatively low grade. I mean, a PSA 6 from the 90s doesn't strike me as all too high, but we'll see the Baggio and the Maldinis actually did really good later. 2014 Messi here, 2014 Prism, PSA 10 that is, at one point in time, one of the best cards in the hobby to many folks. Going for 150, this is actually up quite a bit. The all-time low over the last couple of years was like 50, probably closer to 60, $70, so that's up a decent bit from there. This 1950 Boulanger Biscuit, this is a Dutch release. It's pretty hard to find, and this is Valentin Ivanov. I had to look him up because the name sort of rang a bell, not for the reason I would have thought. He was a midfielder, at least that's what the wiki said. He scored a lot of goals, so maybe more of an attacking midfielder for the Soviet Union during sort of their heyday. The reason I knew the name is his son actually reffed the 2006 Portugal-Netherlands World Cup game with like the most cards ever in a game. So that's just sort of a weird fact that happened to come up. But it seems like a decent price. This set in general has been pretty widely sought after lately. There was a huge Copa sale, I believe it was. And there's like a Puskás in here as well. There's some good players, and it's pretty hard to find generally. Above that, we got a 1995 R9 going for $196, like the Navarrete in terms of the pricing. I looked it up. I'm pretty sure I closed it, and I did indeed. But the pricing was fair. I thought it was a decent buy if you're looking into that. I mean, only pop 1 of 14. They don't sell a ton. Goes for a decent number. We got Taifu T, George Best for $156, along with a Liam Brady rookie, at least so it says. I'm going to trust Fanatics on that one for $156 there. Select Checkerboard Ronaldo, sort of a color match here. PSA 10 goes for $162. The 59 Heinerle Puskás, always an iconic image in and of itself, but also an iconic card, at least to me. I don't know if other people would agree on that, maybe not. But this image in and of itself is absolutely an iconic image. It goes for $162 there, which feels like a decent price. There'll be one here in a second that sells a good bit higher. A Jimmy McGrory here goes for $162, which I looked up a couple comps and that seemed like a decent price. Now this one's also a pretty good eye appeal for one, so I think that's why I did a good price. These Naninas, I have no clue. I mean, they're super high grade Naninas, but the players themselves, or the coaches themselves, these don't look much like players, I can't speak to. So I thought this was high, $174 for an Este PSA 9 Lamine Yamal. I mean, people at this point in time really don't care about stickers anymore. I could see, just like a general collector liking stickers, to be honest with you. I think if people are annoyed with like the numbered cards, I could see them being like, I just want a sticker, that's it, give me a Panini sticker and that's all I want. I could see that being an interesting route for collecting, but like the supply demand, I don't think that demand's ever gonna, rapidly exceed the supply of Panini modern stickers. Next up, we have a 2005 Messi PSA 8 Monday Chromo Top Liga foil. Goes for $180. This Abril Campeonato Roberto Carlos in PSA 5 goes for $180 as well, which is a pretty decent price, at least compared to a sale I saw on eBay recently. Paired with a Rivaldo as well. Seemed like a decent price, but generally these haven't been doing too great as of late. Not that they sell a ton, but they just haven't, really gone up. We'll see a lot of stuff in this auction block that's gone up. That is not one of them, at least compared to most of the comps we've seen over the last couple of years. Lamine Yamal Donruss Rookie Kings for $180. That feels like a good price for, a base card, really. Above it, we got a 51 Chocolate French release here, going for $180 of a player I haven't heard of. Please forgive me. Then we have two 2021 Chromes, and it's sort of an interesting, topic here. This one, as you can see, maybe you can't. I mean, you can see the auto here over on the side for sure. This auto looks pretty good. It's out of 98, and that goes for $186. Next to it, this one, out of 25, that auto, not so great. That goes for $186 as well. It's interesting. Would you rather have the card that's 4 times rarer but has a worse auto, or 4 times as common but has a better auto. Me personally, I'd probably take the rarer card, which I'm not proud of, and I don't know how I'd feel if I had that in person and really had to think about it, but I'd probably take it. Beyond that, we have a Van Persie going for 186 from 2023 Topps Arsenal Forever. Out of 5, red. Goes for a decent number. We have a 1967 Panini Calciatore Pele, PSA 5 for 186, along with an Iniesta 2016 auto from Panini Prism in a PSA 10. Continuing upward, we have this Jared Muller in an SGC 4 for 192. That is not like an all-time low. There's been other lower prices, so I guess if you want to go from the low, this is up a little, but it's not like a staggeringly good price. It does say Pop 1 at 4.2 higher. Of course, PSA has a good amount of high grades, so that's just SGC. Next to it, this Heinerle Puskas, we talked about another one being a little bit higher. This goes for, almost like 20-30% more than the other. A Mirar Sprint Pele here, an Ace of Diamonds red, goes for 198. This Neymar PSA 10 purple felt like a decent price, 200 for, a purple select. Doesn't seem bad. 2015 Select's weird because it is first year Select, so, it probably should get a little bit of love in that regard. But I really, at least myself, and I feel like a lot of others, like the latter years of Select where they really start to define the levels, and you got, field levels, you got some cool die cuts, at least I think they're cool. And even like the base cards look pretty good. 2015 is just a base card and a variation, and doesn't do a whole lot for me, but it is first year, so it depends, how much you want to take that into account. If you love the first year nature of this, that could be seen as undervalued. The equivalent of the Asian National here, we have that Lamine Yamal out of 50 going for 198, along with a Manga Declan Rice for nearly 200. Moving above it, we got a couple vintage here with a Kaboom João Felix in between. We start with the Erwin Helmchen Koenig here. This is a 08 back in a PSA 2.5, so as you can see there, blue back, 08 down there. In terms of pricing, near like an all-time high. I mean, the all-time high is $336 for a CSG 5.5 for the same back. And then we have a couple raw, and then you have this 2.5 here. So, most of the Koenigs, at least generally speaking, are down from sort of the booming days. This one doing pretty good and seemingly getting back up there. It is also Pop 1 of 1 and higher, so that probably plays a factor as well. João Felix here, as I mentioned, the Kaboom going for 210. Feels decent for a player that, isn't lighting the world, let alone AC Milan, on fire. Shows the power of the Kaboom for sure. Geo Smith, the boys' own paper here, hand cut, goes for 210. This is down. There was a sale one cert prior or after to this. I can't remember, but there was a cert next to this that did sell a couple months ago for 300, so that's a little bit of a dip. We have an Endrick rookie here, an orange prism for 210. We have a Pele patch auto here for 216. The patch is from a signed jersey, which is interesting. I've never really seen that, but also I have no clue what Super Glow Premier Black Ice is, so who knows? That is a Pele sticker auto on there, though. It's kind of hard to see. 2016 Christian Pulisic, this goes for 222. That's, I believe, the all-time high on this card. There were sales I saw there were other sales I saw for like 100, 150. I think that's the highest I've ever seen, though. Pop 105. This was sort of surprising, 228 for a World Cup Stars. We saw the base Messi earlier for 150. To think that an insert World Cup Stars does 228 for Ronaldo, I thought that was kind of surprising. So I looked it up. This is actually a really high price too, near an all-time high, I'm pretty sure. Problem is you're going to get the golds, you're going to get the silvers, but for the base, the all-time high is 240 back in 2021. Now maybe if one of these had sold during 2020, during the craze, they might have gone higher, but that's nearly an all-time high for a Prism 2014 card. Velarde Diego Maradona, PSA 9 for 228. Again, Maldini here, talking about cards that are going up. This Maldini Calciatore goes for 228 and a PSA 6. If we go and look all-time high pricing, not going to be all-time highs, right? 425, 300, but it's not far behind 228 here. I mean, that's the fourth highest price, and as you can see, there's a lot that have been lower. I mean, they've been as low as $86 to $91 in 2023, so that's up nearly 150% from all-time lows, which is fun to say, because, the last few years we've had to talk about prices going down from all-time highs. We can talk about prices being up from all-time lows, and that's a pretty decent jump, I would say. This also seems strong. Xabi Alonso red. I know it's color match. I know it's PSA 9, which isn't necessarily easy, but like Xabi Alonso isn't, a really collected player based off what I see on Instagram. So I thought that was a pretty good price. 234 here for the Spazio, which I also looked up. And again, pretty good price. Is it all-time high? I don't know. It is, at least for this grade. Here's that's an Adis, which is a different card, clearly. But in terms of the Calciatore, yeah, that's all-time high. The lowest you're seeing here is 110. That's 234. Again, up nearly 100% from the all-time lows. Erling Haaland 2023 Chrome Auto, sort of an insert auto set, goes for 240. You have a Flash Baggio here, PSA 5 for 240. I didn't look that one up. I don't think that's as impressive, at least to me. A grade higher for a relatively rarer sticker. I think that the Flash would be my pick of the bunch, but at the same time, I think there's something to be said about the more common, when it's, not insanely more common. The Calciatore is a little more common, but it's also more iconic, I would say. 2012 Monday Chromo Cristiano Ronaldo, Pop 1 of 2 for 252. We have a Tobin Heath auto here for 252 as well. This Ben Barrack, I looked up comps, but I couldn't find anything else, and I didn't want to go search Toto, so I'm sorry for not doing the due diligence there, but 252 seems like a pretty good price. You don't see tons of Ben Barracks doing crazier numbers, especially sort of his Spanish stuff. Fabio Cannavaro, 264 in this Nobility. We have a Paolo Rossi sticker auto here for 264 as well. I'd probably take the on-card Cannavaro, but to each their own. No clue what this Roto Press is, but a Pele 58 team image here going for 276. I thought this was a decent price, 276 on this Red Wave Jadon Sancho. I did look it up, and that seemed like a decent bit of a jump, which he hasn't really had like a crazy season by any means, so that's just sort of a weird thing, but it did go up in price. 276 for Jadon Sancho. Doesn't seem bad if you're the seller. Erling Haaland Black Refractor here. I've said before, I like the beam teams from this year just in the sense that they match the beam teams I think of when it comes to basketball. I think these sets really are more important to sort of bring in some like basketball collectors. There's some baseball subsets as well, some inserts that I feel like also could bring in baseball guys. I really think that that's what this type of stuff is good for. I don't really know about its like long-term collectability for soccer collectors. I think they're cool cards. I think they look good. I like the nod to, prior decades of collecting, but at the same time, doesn't really hit home for me, but I think they look nice. So that was the first 50 of the auction block. Here we have the top 50, 288 to get into this section. We start with a Maradona PSA 9 1989 Calciatore. Really nice looking one there. Goes for a decent number, but doesn't strike me as all that high. I mean, Pop 1 of 2, none higher. I feel like that could have gone a lot higher, at least compared to other sort of registry chasing I've seen being done on Maradona. Granted, it's Calciatore. There will be more for sure, but doesn't seem crazy. 74 Navarrete, Pop 1 of 1, none higher. I didn't see that for this Johan Cruyff. I didn't look it up. Had I seen that pop, I probably would have, just out of curiosity for if any others have sold. We have a green Chrome Cristiano Ronaldo, which I was interested in looking up just to see how these early Chromes are doing when you get some nice color on there. And this one's actually up again quite a bit. I mean, the low here, seemingly 147. This is jersey number, so is this, so you really can't take that into account. 2022, 315, so nearly at 2022 pricing, and from the all-time low, that's up almost double from that price, which again, really nice price, really nice jump. Still a cool card. I like the card personally. I know people don't like the Juve kit. I've said before, like, it's kind of unique. I don't mind it. Do I prefer it? No, but does it bother me a ton? Not really. I mean, Juve is a huge club. Ronaldo's a huge player. I like the combo. Speaking of combos, I did win this one in Erling Haaland Red out of 10 from 2020 Chrome UEFA Champions League. PSA 8, which is the highest grade, at least, of the 4 that have been graded here. Pop 1 of 4, none higher. I was pretty happy with this. In terms of comps, there have been a few of these to sell in PSA 8 grade over the last couple years, ranging anywhere from like 300 to 700. My logic is I like Haaland as a player. I think he's one of the better players of this era for sure. The things he's doing in Champions League goal scoring is insane. Doesn't get a ton of love because Man City doesn't have a ton of collectors, but I like the player. Do I think he's going to win tons of Ballon d'Ors and go down as the next Messi or Ronaldo? No, that's not my hope here. But I do think that I like the card. I mean, his rookies, now granted, I know they're rookies, but like the rookie Reds have sold 20, 30,000 all the way up to like 100,000. Granted, again, they're rookies, I get it. But at the same time, I kind of like collecting a second, third year. I like the red chromes as well. I just think generally that's sort of like the equivalent of a gold prism almost. I don't think it's quite gold prism level. But I do think that a red chrome out of 10 is a big card for almost any player, especially if it's, the base chrome Champions League, all that stuff. I think sapphires are good too, out of 5, but 288, I was happy to get that one. I have his 2021 jersey number red, So this will pair up with that pretty well. I might crack it, I don't know, but I was happy with that win. This Beckenbauer from 66, pretty nice looking card. PSA 4 is really bad for this card in particular. Those grade pretty well, but a PSA 10 auto definitely makes up for it. 288 on that one. Treble gold Kareem Benzema here for 300. There's only been one treble sale for this gold before. That was in 2022 for 500, so it's down a little bit. Granted, Benzema had a lot more hype in 2022 than he does now, so I think that plays a factor. So I think that's probably, why that's happening there. Christian Pulisic, it says rookie here. This is 2017 National, so, as a rookie, I don't know. It says rookie on it, so 300 there for a pop 1 of 9 out of 99 PSA 10. This 2016 Panini Instant Cristiano Ronaldo here for 300, pop 1 of 5. This had the 1 of 1 sold in 2018 for 300, and now you got the base selling for 300, so it's come a long way. The soccer market in general, the soccer hobby in general has come a long way. But if you're, chasing Ronaldo's highest grade, all the rare stuff you can, grading rarity being the case here, 300 doesn't seem crazy. Award winners, Lionel Messi for 300 and a PSA 10. A fun one to see there. I do believe those are case hits. I don't remember exactly, but I think that's the case. 1 of 1 Emil Forsberg for 300 here. Superfractor doing some work. A 78 Industria Argentina Pele and a PSA 7 for 300, along with an Imperial Calcio Pele from 1963 for 312. Imperial Calcio here getting a lot more watchers, which is pretty notable. This is seen as a pretty big sticker generally. As far as comps, not like a great sale. PSA 2 recently did 264, 324, 288, and as you can see, some high grades here really doing some numbers. PSA 2 even in March of last year did 384, so this PSA 3 did a pretty low price. One of the few, I would say, in this auction block that really didn't do all that great. Congrats to the winner. I feel like that's a fun one to add. We have a 2019 Erling Haaland for 324. We've talked about those. Those have been down a little bit, well, a lot of bit over the last couple of years. A 65 Panini Calciatore of Alita back for 348 of none other than Pele, along with a green Mojo Refractor Lamine Yamal for 360. Gold Pulisic here for 384. These are down, but not like crazily down. I mean, all-time highs on these were 700 to 1,000, so it's definitely down, but like, being down 50% from all-time highs isn't anything crazy, especially for a modern-day player. Also an unnumbered rookie card. Still a decent price, I feel like, and up from a couple other sales that we were seeing before. Next, this Panini 82 Maradona goes for 384, and both the Panini Maradonas we'll see have been doing really well in terms of these sales. This one goes for 384. Last PSA 6 did 300 just a couple months ago, so one less grade going for $100 higher. Already sort of clues you in on where we're at in terms of the pricing increase on this one. There was a PSA 8 on eBay that did $475. That was an absolute steal. Whoever got that, you're a demon. That is just disgusting. Beyond that, PSA 8 back here for $960. PSA 8 for $600. So yeah, I mean, like PSA 8s at times are hitting $500-$600 at their lows, and we have a 5 going here for $400. Seems like a pretty good price on that one. Kylian Mbappe Optic Gold here for $384 and a PSA 10. If you like the grading premium, that doesn't seem crazy. A 47 Vav Bonaparti and a PSA 6 goes for $396. Really high grade on that. Pop 1 of 2, just one higher. Blue Geometric Refractor out of 150 goes for $432. So not a huge premium for 100 less in terms of pop. I would definitely pay the extra $60 to go from pink to blue, and you sort of get the jersey match as well with that. Heung-min Son Auto out of 10 from Donruss here goes for $444. Gold. We have the 86 Panini here for $444, and this one also did pretty good if we go and look. So this one does $444 in terms of prior comps. These threes were pretty high, to be fair, and maybe that's sort of indicating that things are going up a little bit. But if we go further back, I mean, a 7 back here in December did $336. So this is $100 more for a grade less, which we've sort of indicated a couple times here. Also, surprisingly, there's only been 5 sales of this sticker in a PSA grade this year. Which, for Panini World Cup sticker, you would assume that they're sort of more out there, more available. I'm sure they are raw, and if you include all the other grading companies, all that stuff. But still, yeah, PSA 5 last year for $228. This 6 goes for $444. I mean, again, really good price there. Personally, I take the $444 for the 86 over the $384 for the 82. You get a grade higher as well. And, just the 86 image, the 86 World Cup, speaks for itself, but just lovely sticker. Then we have a 2015 Messi patch out of 149, PSA 10 for $456. Above that, we have a 2016 instant with the Portugal team lifting the trophy for 468. This Messi at 492, his first World Cup. I did look that one up. Did I keep it up? I don't know. I did not, but it was up a little bit. I think it was like 20-30% over the last couple of years. Nothing really crazy. There have been higher sales lately at like 600-700, so this is relatively low compared to some of those. I thought this was a fun one. I don't know the timeline exactly, but I'm going to assume that this is Neymar's first Mega Cracks card with Barca, as he got transferred from Santos pretty early on. And I guess he got transferred the year before the World Cup, so this would add up. 492 on that one, pop 105, or pop 106 actually. Feels like a decent price. I mean, I understand it's Neymar's first card, first Mega Cracks PSA 10. It's a really fun card, don't get me wrong. But like, for example, Ronaldo's Real Madrid stuff, I feel like doesn't really get a lot of love, and like his first stuff with Real Madrid, granted I think there's more competition with like other cards and that type of stuff, but still this struck me as a pretty good price. Red Cristiano Ronaldo out of 49, PSA 10 for 504. Not a crazy price when you consider it's much rarer than this Messi, and it's also color match. So I just thought that was interesting. It's also vertical compared to horizontal. Sticker Verlag here from 67. Johan Cruyff did the Cruyff video last week. If you haven't checked that out, I did a rookie tier ranking. This one is amongst my favorites for him, and 516 on that is a respectable price. They've definitely been lower. I remember seeing twos at like 300 at times, plus or minus a little bit. Now this does have an eye peel sticker. I looked at it. It looks really good, so I think it deserves a little premium. But 516 on that doesn't strike me as a crazy price to pay. 2004 Messi packs, I've talked about these before, but just to throw my opinion out there, you don't know what series packs are from, and you also don't know what series boxes are from when it comes to Mega Cracks 2004. There's 3 to 4 series, and only one of the series has Messi potentially in it. So ultimately, there's a 20-30% chance that the packs in general could even have Messi in it, assuming all the series are equally printed. I don't know the print runs of them, so I can't speak on that. But all to say that there's no real indication if Messi could be in here or not. So you're taking a big gamble, and I would imagine people that are grading packs probably aren't grading the ones that could have Messi in it. I would think they're more likely to grade the ones that definitely don't have Messi in it. I still like packs, generally speaking, so I think they're cool, but I think that's definitely something you have to be wary of if buying into this. But if you just like packs, I think it's a fun one. Disco Christian Pulisic auto here goes for 552 from 2017. It says rookie. The Revolution set, it might have come out in 2017, but I do believe it's 2016-2017 season, so I can sort of understand the rookie connotation there at 552. Definitely a decent price. Montiel Pele for 552 as well in a PSA 3. Definitely not people's favorite, generally speaking, but, a Pele rookie that still, gets a lot of watchers, 56 there. Tie-dye Neymar here, an emerging star, goes for 780. This felt like a pretty decent price. It does go off sticker, so the auto definitely wouldn't get a 10, and the auto, you would assume, is the draw to the card. I've seen some greens and a gold jersey number on eBay sell raw for like, 300-ish, so I definitely think that those are probably a better buy than this 10. I do like tie-dye, I do like Neymar, but I think 800 for that sticker auto is a decent bit. Lamine Yamal sticker auto here for 870 from Topps. FCB YO Year of the Dragon, there we go. Chinese Zodiac Teal. I talk about it all the time. I always try to think about 10, 20 years, are people going to type some of this stuff into eBay? I don't know if someone's typing out all of this. Topps, FCB, Year of the Dragon, Chinese Zodiac Teal. It's just a lot, man. It's just a lot. Something people might type in, 1964 Panini Calciatore Pele, highest grade that you can find. 1,020. I said highest grade you can find. I totally lied. I just assumed it was. There's 6 higher. But pop 1 to 13, super high grade. Obviously, early Panini sticker, set chasers as well. In terms of pricing, 1,020 here, which is nowhere near the all-time high. Maybe Pele stuff is, which to be fair, Pele stuff hasn't really recovered, isn't really going up like some of the other stuff we saw that's up double. Pele stuff still going down. Or at least, sort of evening out, maybe. But it sort of makes sense. Pele stuff was some of the last stuff to fall when everything else had sort of fallen. So I can understand, maybe it sort of being the last to recover, which is weird to think, but seemingly it's playing out that way. Of course, we have to see where it goes. I have no clue. I'm just a guy with a microphone, but Back in the day, $135 in 2015. It then was sold for $450 in 2018. So it's only up double from this pre-boom price. If you want to go 2015, it's up 6-7x. But it doesn't strike me as a crazy price if you're a Pele enjoyer. This Vecchi from 1934, no comps on that. Couldn't really find anything. So, an early, semi-early, I guess it's probably closer to mid-career, Miazza. That's pretty nice looking, pretty rare as well, going for $1,200 there. It's got a nice back too. I guess I'll just zoom in on it there for you. But yeah, it's a nice little booklet. Back looks nice as well. Goes for $1,200. Miazza is always going to command a premium and certainly does there. Fun one to see go in the auction block. The Messi jersey number gold mosaic goes for $1,300. Going to be hard to comp because jersey number is obviously going to be a whole different thing that you have to calculate. But I didn't think it was crazy. I mean, in the world where people are paying lots of money for Messi stuff, $1,300 for a jersey number gold during a time he was at Barca with a Panini release. I think this is first year Panini Mosaic in soccer too, which do people care? Probably not. But I thought it was pretty cool. $1,300 there doesn't strike me as crazy. $1,890 for this Cristiano Ronaldo PSA 9 OC, which typically OC would mean -2 in terms of grading. Like on the set registry, those designations take you down 2 grades. So if you assume this is a 7, $2K for a 7 is a pretty decent price. I mean, it's not like stellar, but it's not bad either. Definitely OC, as you can tell. I mean, very little border there on the bottom and the right. The Pele panel here from 1970, not just Pele, it also has Dino Zoff in it. The other 2 guys I'm not familiar with, so I'm sorry. But yeah, this one goes for $1,900. It's a PSA 3. At least to me, first thing that comes to mind is is someone going to, cut this up and try to get better grades on it because a 3 is a really bad grade. You would assume you could get higher, if not the same, and probably not have a ton of risk there. So that'd be interesting. This is where you get their blue and red back. This panel essentially comes with the album. Someone took this entire panel out, and rather than cutting them up and submitting them individually, they just submitted it as a whole. So these are hand cut. You can also hand cut it. Aquarella here in a 2.5 grade for $2,100. Feels like a decent price. Nearly $1,000 a grade, which it's been a little bit lower than that for a bit. We have a Messi auto here from 2015 Select out of 25 for $2,300 and a PSA 9. This was a super strong sale, $2,300 for PSA 9 Money Chromo. I didn't look it up, but I feel like I sort of did a disservice by not doing that. This is the graph on that. I mean, a super strong sale, kind of out of nowhere. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. But yeah, $1,300. Maybe it was a little more slow and steady. This would be a bit more believable as a consistent price people would pay. I do think it's low, just personal opinion. I've seen different Mega Cracks team set cards sell for definitely above $1,300 and even closer to $2,000, $2,500 at times. I think that the Monday Chromo is a bit better of a card. Just my opinion, of course. I am one man. But it's Pop 261. That's not crazy. And I'm sure in 10, it's not going to be high either. You can't see it here. Now you can. It's 47 in a 10. So you're getting a top 300 Monday Chromo for, at times $1,300. That doesn't seem crazy to me. This price does seem a little crazy. I'm not quite sure why we ended up there. But to be fair, I think if you went on eBay and looked up PSA 9 Monday Chromo, you're probably not getting one for less than $2,300. So, I don't know. Row above it, we have a 2013 Cristiano Ronaldo Topps Premier League Gold PSA 10 auto, which is a fun one. Definitely looked it up because, Pop 1 of 13, there will be enough comps. In terms of pricing, this is an all-time high, I do believe. Almost double the last one, which is kind of crazy. There were sales even last year for $2,000, $1,800, $1,300. One crazy sale for $880. Someone listed that on a fixed price. I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, that's definitely soaring, and that seems like almost a crazy price again. Some of these prices we're getting in the realm where it's do I believe that they're real? Which, for a long time, we really didn't have to ask those questions, which is definitely a sort of shift that I'm going to have to make mentally. Speaking of, we have another one of those, which is this 2011 Panini Portugal de Oro. Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, you got Messi as well in here, sort of sneaking in, and that's the draw to this card. You have a Messi Ronaldo. I think this is their first card together. Could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the main appeal here. In terms of this sale, is it an all-time high? I don't know. There was one crazy golden sale back in the day, yeah. So there's a $20,000 golden sale, which immediately 3 months later was followed up with a $4,000 sale. So that'll tell you a little something. But this is the third highest ever, so the highest we've seen since. And in between, there was a $1,500 sale and a $700 sale. So yeah, from the all-time low, this is up 400%. nearly 500%, assuming this gets paid for, which again, I don't know. I have no info. But just a crazy price again. 3,800 is nuts. This new era gold Kylian Mbappe sold for the same price as a PSA 9 recently did. We saw one go on Fanatics Weekly last month for 4,400. This goes for exactly the same price. So not a whole lot to speak on there, other than the fact that, you know, a PSA 9 and a BGS 9.5 did the same price. Granted, this BGS 9.5 is a min gem, which I'm sure plays a factor. But yeah, interesting to see. And that takes us into the top 3 this week, which again, I'm going to have to question a price here. Not as much as like this, you know, but yeah, one of these is an imposter, at least in my mind, and that would be the National Treasures from 2022. This is a sticker auto. Obviously, World Cup winning year, I get that. It is a match-worn patch, so it does have that going for it. It is a PSA 10. It is an auto 10. The patch looks terrible. So there's like some good things going for it. You know, I think the good things mainly is the 10-10 World Cup winning year. The bad things, the patch is awful. It's a sticker auto. It is a match-worn patch, to be fair. So that, you know, gives it a little something. But in terms of pricing, like, I think that, yeah, this is the all-time high price for any National Treasures out of 25 Messi from 2022. And by like a large margin. I mean, this was a jersey number on card NT, which you know, it's timeless talents. It's sort of an insert, I would imagine. Yeah, I mean, the next time you see one of these in terms of highest price is 5,000 here. This is a PSA 9, so granted, you know, it's a 910, but it is jersey number. So I don't know. It absolutely dwarfed any other sale we can see of that card at all, which is interesting to say the least. And 15.6K there, decent number as well. And then next to it, to top off the auction block, both of these tied at 18,000. You got 2 Ruby Messis, both, you know, pretty good flawless cards. Not necessarily the standouts of the standouts in terms of flawless, but really nice looking for sure. Really great cards. Out of 15 color match as well, with the Ruby going for it there. That's number 4 out of 15. This is number 1 out of 15. Personally, I sort of like this design better than this one over here, but obviously that's just a personal preference. In terms of pricing, I looked up Ruby Flawless Messi just to sort of see what the all-time high prices were on these, and they're really up there. I mean, these are the 4th and 5th highest sales for Ruby Flawless Messi cards. The higher sales being 2 sales for the Flawless Finishes. One of them sold last year for 20.7 thousand, which is really close. When I initially looked through these sales, I was like, wow, this is definitely a deal, given that it sold for 20,000, when, you know, because the Flawless Finishes is really desired in comparison to these Flawless that we're seeing here. Obviously an iconic celebration for Messi, an insert that people chase a lot here. People love the Flawless Finishes, and I thought it was a relative deal, and that proved to end up being the case, is it actually did sell this year for 28.8 thousand, same exact card, same exact everything. So that's definitely bumped up, and you know, even at 28, I feel like it's kind of cheap compared to these, personally. You know, if I was shelling out 20 on this, I'd probably just shell out 30 on this if, you know, that was able to be done. I also think that this Flawless sold the game. Seems like a pretty good price as well at 26,000 here. I feel like that's probably a deal relatively compared to the 18 you're seeing on both of these in the auction block. Still really high prices, still really cool to see. But that rounds us out for this week here. Looking at next week, we'll give a peek at what we got going on here. So we start off with a Kaboom PSA 10 Messi. You have a Zebra Mezzanine Lamine Yamal, along with a, I think this is classes the 3 Nuns, Steve Bloomer here in a PSA 4, which is a pretty good grade there. Pop 1 of 3, 1 higher. Zidane rookie, Messi rookie. You got a 1 of 1 Frank Lampard, John Terry, along with a Tatty of Steve Bloomer as well. I threw a watch on that. I don't actually bid on these things. Pre-war England is not my jam, but I just like seeing what it does. You got a treble Messi here. You got a 62 Pele. You don't see a ton of on card Messi auto. Gold Pirlo Kaboom. Oh, you got a Forza Gold Maradona. PSA 9 OC again here with the Ronaldo there. Gold Pogba. Some fun stuff scattered throughout. I'm sure it'll be another fun week. But that's going to be it for this face camless auction block. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, of course, make sure to leave a like. If you missed the face cam, if you bought anything in the auction block, if you thought sold something high or low, let me know in a comment down below. If you want to see more videos like this, as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.